She just wants to be beautiful. She goes unnoticed. She knows no limits. She craves.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today's going to be part 2 of my gallbladder story. Just a recap, I had a gallbladder attack in January. I just recently found out I have gallstones and need to have my gallbladder removed. Just a few days ago, I had to go and have an endoscopy, which is a tube down the throat, so that I could be checked for ulcers as well, just to make sure that the symptoms weren't coming from multiple things. Sometimes people can have gallstones and not have any symptoms, and usually they're not a concern, but once you feel symptoms, they are, and they can be quite dangerous. They can move into the bile ducts, cause jaundice and all sorts of things. Ulcers also have similar symptoms, so they wanted to check me for that. I was so scared, expecting the worst. You know, people told me that your throat is so sore after, as if like you have a throat infection. Your stomach is killing you because they pump you full of air. They told me I was gonna have to be sedated, so I was really nervous about that. I had to make sure I had a ride to take me home. And it's just really stressful. Like, nobody really wants to think about having some big long tube shoved down their throat. I actually am so proud of myself. I have horrible anxiety and I refused the pain medication, and they were going to give me fentanyl and something they call a conscious sedation. I refused that as well. Now, the surgeon, I found him to be quite rude. I told the nurses I did not want the sedation, and I was sitting there for about 20 minutes, and then the nurse came back and told me that basically the surgeon really recommends that I have the sedation and doesn't like doing it without the sedation, and he feels that he's not going to be able to get a good reading and so on and so forth because people move around and they're very uncomfortable. So when I got into the room where he would be doing the test, he comes in and he's really pressuring me, saying he's never done it without the sedation. Well, I know people who have, and I just wanted to be able to get up and walk out of there and not feel all woozy and have to sit there for an hour and just feel drugged up. I mean, if I don't have to be, they were telling me it was only a 10-minute test. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty horrible. They just gave me some freezing in my throat. When he was trying to convince me into it, he said to me, you know, I have other patients waiting and I don't have time for you to be going back and forth with this to decide. Well, I had already decided I don't want the sedation. You're the reason it's taking longer because you are trying to convince me and pressure me into doing something I don't want to do. So anyways, he put the spray in and said, okay, we'll try it. And basically, if I couldn't handle it, I would have to reschedule and come back to get it done again with the sedation. So he puts the spray in my throat. It tastes pretty horrible, but not a big deal. He starts going down. I guess once they get around the bendy part in your throat, that's the worst part of the whole experience. So as soon as it starts going around the bendy thing, I'm gagging, you know, stuff is coming out of my mouth, my eyes are tearing up, and I couldn't help but, no, I don't want to do this, and kind of put my hand up, and the woman put my hand down. Now, the nurse, there was 2 nurses there. They were amazing. I wish I would have got their names. I will remember their faces though. They were so helpful to me. They were so sweet. It was like having my mom in the room with me or some other family member. The one lady was rubbing my back and just telling me it's okay, just breathe. The other woman was like stroking my hair and saying like it's almost over, only a couple more minutes to go. While they were trying to tell me things to comfort me, the doctor, the surgeon, says to them, I don't need everybody talking at once. He wasn't even speaking. I don't know why it was bothering him that they were speaking to me. Maybe he can't concentrate when people are talking, for him to just put the tube down the throat and look at the camera. I don't really know. I'm not a surgeon, but I did find that quite rude. Like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gotten through it. Apparently, the nurses say most people are grabbing for the tube when it's going down the throat and they're trying to rip it out. I didn't do that. I did really well. They said I did better than most people with sedation, considering all I had was throat spray. I had the thing down my throat for 10 minutes. It's about, say, this wide, a long black tube with a camera in it. Honestly, it's really hard to swallow, but they tell you to just keep swallowing. You're trying to swallow, but you feel this huge thing there. Once it gets past the bendy part in your throat, it's not as bad. You're not gagging so much as you're just really trying to swallow. And I remember kind of moaning and trying to just, this is going to be over soon. Just keep trying to swallow, keep trying to breathe, because you sort of feel like you can't breathe, but you can. It's just a very weird sensation, feeling something being pushed down, and then being pulled back up. He kept pushing it, pulling it, pushing it, pulling it. You could feel it all the way down. It turns out I don't have ulcers, so they want to go ahead with the surgery, which really sucks. I really don't want to have it, but I have been having a lot of pain in the chest and into the back area due to the gallstones. It probably is for the best interest to have it done before something emergency happens and then I have to be rushed in. Once he took the tube out, he said he didn't see any ulcers and that they will be scheduling me for the gallbladder surgery. He says to me, "You do know you're gonna have to have sedation when you have your gallbladder removed." Like, duh. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid. This was a 10-minute test. You're not removing something from my body that I figured I could handle it without sedation. And I did fine, and I did better than most people who do with the drugs. So I just thought that was really condescending and rude of him to say, like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to say, oh no, I refuse sedation during surgery. So I'm kind of contemplating asking for possibly a second opinion and just somebody else to do the surgery. But at the same time, I mean, he was quick and efficient. He didn't cause any damage. I did have to sign a waiver because there's a possibility of causing a tear in your stomach lining or in your esophagus when they're putting the tube down. He didn't cause me any problems. I just don't really like his attitude. I don't like how he was talking to me. I don't like how he was talking to his nurses. But that doesn't mean he's not a good surgeon, so I'm really still kind of on the fence about that. But being that I have anxiety, it's really hard to be around somebody who's so abrupt and condescending and rude with me. Actually, when I had my first meeting with him, he prescribed me something for ulcers to try. I asked him if it had any symptoms with the pills, and he started laughing at me saying, "You mean, you mean side effects?" Like, sorry, I don't know everything. I'm not a doctor. Sometimes I make mistakes. I was very nervous. I was on the verge of tears. He had just told me, yes, we overlooked your file and you are definitely going to need your gallbladder removed. I'm very nervous about surgery. And then I'm just trying to talk to him. I'm having a hard time getting my words out. I'm sure he could tell I was kind of stuttering a little bit. It happens when I get nervous. I'm trying to talk. And he's kind of laughing at me and making a joke of it and was just kind of brushing off my questions and interrupting me. This is very important. I know it can be a routine surgery and it's in and out for a day surgery, but you're still going into my body and removing something, and obviously I have questions. I would assume anybody would. So I'm going to keep up with this and let you know what happens if and when I do go through the gallbladder surgery, how the recovery goes, how long it took, you know, how you feel before and after, let you know everything. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this is interesting and helpful to anybody who might be going through this. Have an awesome day. Bye. I also forgot to mention that the surgeon said he wasn't going to be giving me any pain meds after the surgery because he doesn't think I need it, which is giving me a lot of anxiety. I want to know I have that script in case I do need it. And if he continues to say he's not going to give it to me, I will be canceling surgery the morning of because he's not available until that day. So wish me luck. Thanks again for watching.